The last thing you want to do in the ads manager is to stay too much time, because if you are staying all the time in the ads manager as a business owner or as an advertiser, you start overthinking and your mood is changing as the results change. You have one good day, you are super happy. When you have one bad sales day, your emotions kick in and you go and you tweak your campaigns. You go and change from ABO to CBO, you change the bid strategy, you change the ad account structure, and this roller coaster effect is killing your overall performance. Stick with me before I'm revealing that hack, because even if I'm telling you right now, you're not gonna implement it, because we human beings are very emotional creatures, because the advertising space doesn't work if you are operating based on emotions. So why this is such a bad idea, tweaking your campaigns every single day? You see, when you are launching a campaign where you are launching some new ad creatives, well, they have to go through the learning phase. So basically we have this gigantic machine learning. Imagine this is like a box with billions and billions of data. When you put out there an ad with some kind of inputs, some kind of visuals, let's say you are selling some kind of fashion products, well, the machine is reading what you have on that ad and is reading your copy, is reading your landing page, and with those inputs, they are going to test those ads, meaning they are putting your ad creatives in front of different segments of audiences. So they are learning in the first days who is your ideal customer. And as we human beings, we need some time to learn specific subject the machine learning needs as well. Now the machine is a little bit more superior, but again still needs some time. To give you a better analogy, let's say that we go back to the college days. So your teacher says, we have an exam next week, you gotta learn this subject, otherwise you are gonna fail, you're not gonna pass that subject. Well, you go back, well, if you're a good student, you go back and you start studying. So you studied for 30 minutes, someone comes into your room, let's say your mother, and she's asking you some kind of stuff. So she's interrupting you right there. And then what is happening? Well, you gotta go back, and it's much harder for you to come back like at the idea that you were, like you are trying to understand what the topic was, like what I was learning. So it is much more difficult for you to be at the stage where you were. So we human beings need some time until we are in that focused zone. And the same thing happens with your campaigns. That's why when a campaign has been running for a longer period of time, usually they start performing better and better and better over time. Now imagine that you've been studying for like another 1 hour, and then one of your friends is calling you. So that friend is interrupting you one more time. And again, it is very difficult for you to come back where you were. And when you're tweaking your campaigns, you basically interrupt. So this is the same analogy. Now, I don't want you to take out of the context and think like, oh, Archie said, I don't want to tweak my campaigns and I'm just gonna launch the campaign and I am not gonna adjust my campaigns for months or for weeks. No, this is not what I'm saying. You still wanna look at your campaigns, but do not adjust them based on how they're performing on a daily basis or on an hourly basis. The best approach is to adjust them on a weekly basis. Now, if you're spending less, in that case, based on your average quota value, you wanna adjust them actually not in a weekly basis, but maybe in a bi-weekly basis. Now, if you're spending less and your average quota value is higher, in that case, you wanna keep it running for more than 1 week, maybe 2 weeks or 3 weeks, until you spend enough. And when I'm saying spend enough, I mean spend at least your usual cost per purchase at the ad level. If one ad has spent your usual cost per acquisition, and if that ad has not got any purchases, in that case, you can be pretty confident to turn that off. So the hack, the formula that I am using across my client ad accounts is called OCL, which stands for Optimize, Scale, and Launch every single week. So first thing, optimize. What does this involve? So before you optimize any campaigns, you gotta know a few metrics, like average quota value, how much on average a customer is spending on your website. When you know this number, you will be able to optimize and make better decisions. Then the second metric is your LTV, your lifetime customer value. How much in a lifetime a customer spends on your website? Is it $200? Is it $500? Is it $1,000? You gotta know those numbers. The third thing is your cost per purchase and your break-even return on spend. And what I recommend is writing down those numbers. So ideally, when you optimize, you have a window of your ads manager and a window with those numbers. And you're gonna be way ahead, and you're gonna be much more ahead from your competitors when you're doing that, because no one does that. It's better to have them somewhere written down, because we human beings, we cannot keep so many numbers, so many thoughts in our mind. The second thing is skill. And when I'm saying skill, that doesn't necessarily mean that you only want to scale up. You only need to increase your budget. No, sometimes you could scale back if the performance is getting worse. So a rule that you gotta keep in mind, and maybe you've already heard about that because it's quite common, you wanna scale up or back by up to 20%. Everything above 20% is gonna reset the learning phase, and it's gonna make the machine learning to have a much harder time to find your audience. You are again interrupting their process, which is something that we need to avoid in this case. So at the optimization process, when you look at your ad sets and they have a return on spend higher than your break-even, that's why you gotta know what is your break-even or return on spend. Then those ad sets, you can be more confident to scale up them by 20%. And on the other hand, if in the last 7 days, notice my language, 7 days, not in the last 24 hours, the return on spend is trending down, then you could scale back that specific ad set. And by the way, if you're spending like $50, $100, $200 a day, and your return on spend is like 5x, 7x, 10x, in that case, you are not spending enough, because that return is too high. And that is quite common, because if you are spending that kind of money, the audience that you are reaching at that moment is more interested in what you're selling. So they are also called, in the marketing terms, low-hanging fruits. They are the easiest one to convert them. As you are spending more, you are reaching a much broader audience, and that audience is less interested in what you're selling. They can be converted, but it requires more effort and more touch points to convert them. So you gotta increase your budget gradually until you hit a point when you make a return on spend of a little bit above your break even. When you're spending $5,000, $10,000 a day and your return on spend is like 2.5 and your break even is 2, well, that is a very healthy ratio, because even though the return on spend is less than it used to be, you've got a much higher client base, and with more customers, you could upsell them, you could sell them some more, and your lifetime customer value is going up and your profit margins is going up as well. And the third thing from our formula is to launch. You want to launch new ad creatives every single week. And the bare minimum, I said already in my videos, you want to launch at least one ad creative every single week. Now, ideally, it should be more than that. But I know sometimes it's quite difficult to get content, but if you are really committed and if you really want to take your business to the next level using social media ads, you gotta make sure that you have that content flow. You know, sometimes I get these questions, why content is more powerful than audience testing or using some kind of other ad strategies? Because you see, the ads manager is just simply a tool. It's a tool that you put your ads on those platforms. But the creatives and the messages, but more powerful the creatives, they are the ones that convert the customer. Those are the ones that persuade a real customer, like it's a real person with feelings, with emotions out there. They see your ads, and you know, imagine you are asking them with the first touch point to put their card information and buy something from you. Of course, a lot of them, they will be skeptical because maybe they've been burned in the past. How do you know that customer has been burned so many times and now you're just putting an ad and you're focusing on the audience testings and your ad creatives suck and you're wondering why you can't convert? That is why. Using this approach, you're gonna spend that maximum 2 hours on a weekly basis. And this is gonna free up a ton of time. Time that you can use on creating more content, on writing more copies, on improving your products, improving your website, things that will really drive more sales. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to subscribe to my channel if you are new here and click on the notification bell as well so you don't miss on my future videos. Every other day I upload a new video here, and I committed to myself and I promised to myself that this year we are gonna get 1,000 subscribers. So if you really enjoy the content that I put and if you really see that I provide you valuable information, please share this video with someone who needs to hear this and with someone who can get some kind of advantages from my content. So for now, that's it, and I will talk to you in my next video.